Good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy, your weekly movie podcast, where we discuss movies endlessly. We send you off to watch a movie, and you come back to us, and we break it apart. We spill it out. We give you the lowdown, and just endlessly talk about our favorite movies of all time. With me, my hetero life mate down below, Mr. Oh My Feelings, and today we've got a luscious guest, Bad Bella. Give it up for Bad Bella. Bad Bella is an affiliate on Twitch, and she's going to discuss with us the movie Scream. Now, before we begin, we'll do this as we usually do. If you want to have if you're watching this, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. If you want to have any suggestions, anything to do with you want to see this movie or that movie, or just harass me to no end, on Twitter at Meffistoe, or if you want Instagram, we've got Instagram at Meffistoe79. If you don't want to do anything to do with social media, that's fine. Meffistoe79 at gmail.com. This is where you can send me your emails, your complaints, whatever you want, or of course, comment section down below. Now, for our lovely guest, you can go and follow her. No, not me. Follow her on Twitter at BadBellaENT, or on Twitch. You can go and give her a follow on Twitch, twitch.tv/BadBellaGames, where she games to her heart's desire, or of course, follow her on Instagram, again, BadBellaENT. Tonight, we are discussing Wes Craven's Resurrection from Hell.
Yes.
Scream from 1996. Give us a few words. All my feelings.
Bella, please.
Yeah. No, Bella, do you want to give us a few words?
Please.
No,
ladies
go ahead. No.
Ladies first.
I don't know what to say. You go ahead. Start off your show. You're fine.
Let's start with our spiel. Let's give us a lowdown, a little bit of information about Scream.
Well, to start off, it was the revigoration, the resurrection of Wes Craven's career after the terrible New Nightmare. This actually redefined the horror genre, especially the slasher in itself. It became more self-contained and more grounded after some very, very, very bad movies, specifically New Nightmare, and then Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, oddly enough, that was the first film that Freddy and Jason were both owned by New Line Cinema.
Okay. So,
There's a theme there.
my own perspective about this movie. Scream, for me, came out of nowhere when I saw this for the first time in the cinema. I grew up on Nightmare on Elm Street. I grew up on these like not really deep cut horror movies. I didn't watch Halloween when I was a kid. I watched Halloween when I was an adult. Completely different perspective, but I did watch Nightmare on Elm Street. I've watched Leprechaun. I've watched a lot of really, really, really bad slasher / horror movies in the early 80s, I didn't watch them at the early 70s, but they came from the early 70s, 80s, and the early 90s. And yes, it had a high at the early 80s, and it kind of went off kilter. It went more gore, less story, and more basically a bunch of naked kids getting killed at a certain point. And Scream kind of, besides the fact that Scream was a resurrection for Wes Craven, it was also taking all the tropes of a basic slasher movie and really kind of jumbling in together and making it a kind of not really a parody or a satire, but a real slasher movie, but referencing a lot of stuff that you would think you would get in a parody.
Yeah, and a lot of it's was subverting expectations is a lot of what this movie does.
Case in point, they keep bringing up the rules of a slasher movie, rules of a horror movie. They keep bringing up the names of the directors. The most familiar ones is Wes Craven and John Carpenter. We'll have that in one scene, and
we'll get to
of course
that.
we have a cameo, a very odd cameo,
very important cameo.
So let's say hello to the chat with Let's Go Brandon. Hello.
But then Bella, so what is your kind of general opinion of the movie just before we start dissecting it?
I wanted to before we go. Me and All My Feelings do this every single week where we literally want you to go and watch and come back to us on a Saturday when we do this live and kind of discuss it. When did you last see this movie?
Oh my goodness. It's so two things. One, it's been a while, but two, Scream is one of the movies I've saw over 100, probably almost 1,000 times, because I was that much of a fan of the movie when I saw it. I was just a kid, actually. I was definitely an avid horror movie watcher, but it seemed like the movies before Scream, like the Jasons, the Michael Myers, the Freddys, those movies kind of seemed more like a nightmarish. It didn't seem realistic to me. So watching Scream, for some reason, as outlandish as it sounds, it seemed more ground to reality to me as a kid. It seemed like something that could happen because the guy wasn't some monster revived or anything. It was just like a regular person. They could be tripped. They ran around. They didn't have supernatural powers or anything. So yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I've seen it a lot. So
what we usually do is go over the movie, but we won't stop at every single scene. At least that's what we're doing right now.
We're trying.
We'll touch upon the absolute first scene.
Yes.
Generally speaking, this was one of the most shocking things about this movie because the most familiar face attached to this movie is Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore, a very famous actress. In the mid '90s, she had not really a like a blooming career. She was mostly a child actor, but she had sort of a resurgence. She had a movie with Whoopi Goldberg and I think, is it Mary Stuart Masterson or one of the other ones? There were three girls. It was kind of a sort of a murder mystery as well. Not really murder mystery, but she had like a movie with that. She had like a cowboy movie as well. Again, all in the mid '90s. So when she was attached to this movie, and she was literally the first scene, and it was almost a 20-minute scene of her being talked to and building up the suspension as well. So I'm going to switch over to that. We're going to go over to that. So we have this.
You still got your Wonder Boys thing up.
What?
You still got your Wonder Boys thing up. I was going to say in the interim while you pull that up, it's really funny that you bring up Drew Barrymore first off, because she actually wanted and petitioned to be in the movie, and originally she was cast to play Sydney.
Yes.
Instead of Nev Campbell.
Yes. And also, there's a lot of weird stuff in this movie. Like, Bella, do you know the original title of this movie?
Scary
It's
movie.
not Scary Movie. That's right. It was supposed to be Scary Movie, and then the parody, the Wayne brothers took that name and made it their own.
Made a whole franchise out of it.
Right.
But the first one was really,
for good or ill, they made a franchise out of it.
The first one was absolutely great. So
Yeah.
please, it's the Wayne brothers. Respect here. So we get this scene where the guy who talks to Drew Barrymore's character, do you remember the name? Because I'm sucky at names. In terms of names, I remember Sydney's name.
Yeah.
The other kids.
So, which one do you want to know? Which one do you know? So
Her
there's
name.
Drew
Sydney.
Barrymore's character.
There's Billy. Billy is her boyfriend, played by Skeet Ulrich.
No, Drew
Stu.
Barrymore's character.
Oh, is it Casey?
Something
I
like
think
that.
so. Yeah.
Casey or
I think it
Cassie?
is Casey.
One of the two. Yeah.
So she,
And her boyfriend was Steve.
Steve. Okay. So she answered the phone. You got this guy messing around with her. Also, she literally he tells you to go to the porch and see where he is, and she looks around, and there goes Steve, and of course he gets gutted. She gets gutted and strung up on the tree outside of her house while her parents walk in the door, and that kind of sets up the entire movie. But the whole point was this was shocking to people, not because somebody got murdered. It's because somebody famous that was in the posters got murdered in like the first
from the
scene.
beginning. Yeah.
Right.
She was on several of the actual theatrical release posters.
She was the main face, right?
She was the main face. Like Nev Campbell was famous, but she wasn't movie famous. She was like, she came from
she's a Party of Five.
Party of Five,
Yeah.
yeah, Party of Five,
Yeah.
which is known for Jennifer Love Hewitt and that guy from Lost. That's it. That's basically it.
That guy from Lost, yeah.
That guy from Lost. Yeah.
One thing I do just one caveat in that entire opening sequence is I love how it just sets the tone of the movie from the get-go.
Yeah, I know.
That creeping tension and dread that's inherent in that scene, and how it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds until it finally just snaps.
Yeah, I know. The whole point in this is to not only put you in the mood, but it works a lot on, and this goes throughout this entire movie. Yes, it had the creepy music, but it was very on point. If you go and watch like let's say you're watching Nightmare on Elm Street 3, yes, there is
The
that
Dream
creepy
Warriors.
music. Yeah, yes, there is that creepy music. It's not as on point at this one.
No.
It feels like, don't forget Scott Wolf.
That's it.
Scott,
That's his name.
You mean Scott who? No, Scott Wolf is the younger brother. the one that they thought would be a massive star, but really wasn't anything apart except for a Party of Five guy. Nobody remembers Scott Wolf today.
No.
Maybe Let's Go Brandon does. Anyway,
Brandon does. Besides that, nobody does.
So, and after that shocking scene, you get our actual protagonist, Sydney.
Yes.
Who apparently doesn't have any fashion sense, especially when she goes to bed.
Oh, yeah. A moo-moo.
She's wearing grandma's nightie. Isn't
Yeah,
that
and
precious, Bella?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
And her boyfriend Billy comes in, and we have this whole...
Perfect closed captioning there.
Yeah, I know.
A little on the top closed stuff.
Yeah. The whole point is that it literally sets up one of the the slasher movie trope, which is our main protagonist cannot be killed as long as she's a virgin. And the whole
the final girl,
this whole scene, apart from making Billy to look like a massive creep, is to have her virginity intact. Not only virginity intact, they're not even going third base here. They're literally like dry humping as fuck. That's it. And I was like, well, it's kind of weird, but not really. It's just that thing.
It is weird, actually. I definitely got to say something on this one. I can't even say the word. The infantization that they tried to put her through in this scene. You notice they got like little bears and stuff. She's like, what? She's an older teenager. They got like something you would give a baby on her bed, the moo-moo, and the fact that she's all just like, oh, on top of the clothes. And then the in contrast, they have the boyfriend who ironically was supposed to look like Johnny Depp, but all right, we'll see. Coming through the window, and he's like got this whole, greaser look, shiny, greasy hair, black on white type thing. I see what they were trying to do here, but I didn't like the whole she sleeps with tiny teddy bear thing. It was borderline creepy.
Yeah. Weird. Well, what's his name? Aldrich?
Skeet Ulrich.
Skeet. What fucking name is Skeet? Never mind.
Skeet.
Right, that's the only thing I know about it.
You got
it. Well, I've heard that name before, but it was during a Chris Rock concert, but never mind. Never mind.
There you go.
So, yeah, exactly. So we get Casey that gets killed. I wanted to talk about Skeet. He was literally
Are you sure?
Yes. Wes Craven literally picked him because Johnny Depp was such a great actor in Nightmare on Elm Street. That's it.
I know, but he also wasn't a good actor in Nightmare on Elm Street either.
And he barely, bro. I don't know.
Johnny
Depp is a great actor, but he barely did anything. Barely. But died.
He barely. He had the best death. He had
literally it was amazing.
That's true.
It was beautiful. It was art.
Yeah. So we skip to this scene where they're literally talking to each other. We established the couples. We've got Sydney and Billy, and we get Tatum, which is Rose McGowan.
Yes,
I remember the name. And the guy from Hackers,
Stu
from Hackers.
Oh wait, my man. Sorry,
your man.
I love him. Really? I love him.
Oh, you really? Let me just give.
Stu. Yes, I love him forever.
Matthew Lillard?
Yeah. Yes, Matthew Lillard. I've always loved him. Yes.
Yeah. I've heard I don't remember if it was a podcast or an interview or something like that every single pop role that he did, so Hackers, this one, he's done another one, I can't remember. So all of his pop roles was literally by chance. Everything was like, he got picked by chance to do Hackers, and from there he literally rolled into this one. everything happened to him by chance, and he absolutely said, "I'm not a great actor. I know how to be me," and which leads me to the whole Ryan Reynolds conundrum again. Ryan
Hold on, you're
Reynolds
going through
playing.
some glitching.
Yeah, you're right. You're glitching out there, but
I'm glitching out.
Yeah.
All right. I'm okay now.
Nope, you're going
Nope.
crazy.
Oh shit! Really? What's
Yeah.
going on?
It's really bad.
Oh, hold. Maybe it's on your end.
Nope, we're both seeing it.
Yeah, it's super duper glitch. It's just all green and pixels,
Okay.
lots of pixels.
He will be back. In the interim, though, I was going to say, Bella, if you like Matthew Lillard stuff, have you seen SLC Punk?
No, I haven't.
I think you'd like that movie a lot. He's really good in that movie.
SLC
Okay.
Punk, I'm putting it on my list.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo. Thank you, Brendan. Am I good now?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was Shaggy.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Good. I was gonna say that the whole point of that outside scene where you have all basically the main cast, including that dude that works at the video store, Randy, who gets established as the guy who knows the rules,
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps. You see later on, it comes up in the video scene. And when they go into the party where he literally says, "Oh, don't you know the rules? Never say this, never say that." All
This
that
is
stuff.
facts.
We'll get to that as well. So that sets up the whole kind of vibe. And then we got the first kind of scary scene where the dad leaves and Sydney gets a call, and of course the killer walks in and tries to kill her.
Now, I have to say, this scene always bugged me because rewatching it, the vocoder that they were apparently trying to use must have malfunctioned because that sounds exactly like Skeet Ulrich. There is no way you could not confuse that voice with anyone else. It's like, yeah, you're talking to your boyfriend. You don't know your boyfriend's voice.
Well, the point is, in all of the calls, the guy who does the voice is the guy who does the voice. It's never Skeet Ulrich. Never, ever, ever. Or Matthew Lillard. It's not them. It's just a random guy called something Jackson.
Rogers, I think it's Rogers Jackson, but he sounds exactly like Billy in this scene.
But
like almost to a T, almost like
I just don't agree. To me, he's that voice.
No, I understand where you're coming from.
But they literally liked him so much he was in all of them. He was in all of them. Made a lovely career out of having a creepy fucking voice.
Right.
And of course they reached Billy comes in the house, and of course it has to be Billy. They have a scene where she's like looking at him. He's getting booked, and she's sitting there all curled up, and they're looking at each other. And retrospect, this guy always, even from the first scene to the last scene, always looked fucking creepy.
Always.
And if you watch this for the first time, you don't pick that up. I was completely blown away that this guy was the guy. I always thought it was the other guy, the Matthew Lillard, Stu. I always thought it was Stu. But yeah, we got this, and we've got she goes to sleep at Tatum's house, which her brother is David Arquette. Yes, I know his name.
Yes.
What is the character's name?
Oh, it's Stewie.
No, it's Dewey.
Dewey, yeah.
There's one of it. Yeah, I just think of the version in Scary Movie.
Oh, I love the version in Scary Movie. Yeah, we're gonna get to the dichotomy between this and Scary Movie, because there are some scenes where Scary Movie just flat out did it so much better.
Yeah. So, they're sleeping at Dewey's place, and at a certain point, there's a yell or something, and of course he jumps with a gun. Everything is all prepared, but
Well, no,
there's
the killer
no
calls
way
the
he's gonna.
house, acting like it's Sydney's dad.
Yeah, and she gets frightened, and then he comes to the rescue because something happened. But there's no way he's gonna stop any kill. Of course, and he didn't.
Deputy
At the
Dipshit
end, he
over here,
actually
yeah.
didn't do anything. Right?
So
He
bad.
actually didn't do anything because he is what he is. Can't
Well,
believe I
we're
can't
gonna
believe fucking that guy and Courtney Cox ended up
Cox.
ended up
They got
marrying
married after this movie.
after this
This is where
movie.
they met. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's-
He must
Where
have
did
won her
Courtney-
over behind the scenes.
yeah.
Courtney Cox is just getting at the height of her powers in Friends at this time, where she's getting to the point where it's getting really popular, where she's getting almost $1 million per episode kind of money. And she fell in love with David Arquette.
Yeah.
Hey, it takes different strokes to rule the world, I guess,
I'm not a bad man. I'm not an evil man. I'm not a terrible asshole. What the fuck? Who the fuck decided that she should have highlights in her hair?
Oh.
What was wrong with her black, gorgeous hair? Please elaborate. Bella, give me
It's
your
a fashion
womanly...
choice.
Oh.
It's in the early 90s, I swear, it was these like chunky highlights, and they didn't want her to look exactly like her other character. They wanted her to look different. So they thought, big chunky highlights. Let's do it. This is perfect. So yeah.
I mean, Courtney Cox's character is so obnoxious in this one.
Well, I know, but oddly enough, that's that Bella had to go for just a second.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. That's fine.
No, just to say it for everybody else. The reason why she is so terrible as a person as Gale Weathers is because she petitioned to be in this role because she wanted to play a bitchy character to get out of the box of being Monica from Friends.
Yeah.
That was her whole modus operandi of actually getting this role.
I'm gonna give her some props in this. Bad hair. She manages to the whole point for me is when actors get into a role is that at least I want to see the character. If I don't see the character, if I see the actor, it's a problem for me in some ways. Like we said, Ryan Reynolds.
With Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds starring in a Ryan Reynolds movie featuring Ryan Reynolds as Ryan Reynolds.
if I want to see, let's say we'll take Chris Pratt, okay? Chris Pratt in Parks and Recreation is not Star-Lord. And he's not
a little bit.
There's subtle differences, but if you go to there's a movie with what's his face? The guy from Dodgeball, not Ben Stiller, the other one. The guy from Swingers. The guy from Swingers.
Oh my god, I just
tall guy, black hair.
Yeah, I know.
The guy. Exactly. You remember from the breakup.
Yes, Wedding Crashers, the breakup. Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. Where did I end up with this fucking train of thought?
No, with Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn is Vince Vaughn in Vince Vaughn.
Chris Pratt
movies.
had a movie with Vince Vaughn where they play brothers, and Vince Vaughn donates a lot of semen, and he ends up being a father of 540 children.
Kids, yeah.
And they sue him to know who he is.
He is,
and Chris Pratt is his lawyer brother. In that movie, he's completely something else.
Well,
so that's where I'm aiming for. Yes, it was a long way around to tell you.
No,
I want to see the character.
Chris Pratt is also good in a movie with Jennifer Lawrence. They're on a spaceship by themselves. His pod opens up. But no, that role, he is not playing the typical.
He is not playing Star-Lord. He's not Star-Lord in that one. Yeah, he's not Chris Pratt. So that's what I like.
No, I get where you're going from. I get where you're going.
The whole point is I like the fact that Courtney Cox plays Gale Weathers, and she plays her as Gale Weathers. She's bitchy, she's annoying, she's a pushover, she's finger in your face, and to top it all off, she's a massive, massive hypocrite. Massive
yeah.
hypocrite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, and not only that, she actually knows it. There's a line close to the end where she asks Kenny if a tabloid reporter ever got the Pulitzer Prize, and
He's like,
Kenny
there's a
doesn't have
first
an
time for
answer.
everything.
Yeah, he says, yeah, you could be, but maybe not you. But so let's. Oh, there's the next scene starts off with this. It's not the next. I'm of course jumping ahead a little bit. The next kind of important scene is this, where Sydney walks into the girls' bathroom, and she kind of overhears two cheerleaders, or one cheerleader and one her friend, kind of let's just say tell it like it is, and kind of say something that was revealed at the end to be kind of true about Sydney's mom, who got murdered a year before, but everybody knew she was sleeping around. And for us for us viewers that we don't know, whoever watched this for the first time doesn't know what's going on. He's like, oh, these fucking bitches, these fucking those girls are being bitchy to Sydney because they are not connected and they don't know anything.
Yeah,
that's
completely
and
disconnected.
that's the thing. And we're empathizing with Sydney because we have to sit there and listen to this shit while we're in the stall, kind of hiding out. But when they literally leave, you get the whispers, the Sydney.
Yeah.
And that kind of sets us up for the next part, which is you don't know if people are trying to scare Sydney or actually kill her. And this is where it kind of plays, again, this movie plays with the tropes kind of well. That's why it's such a successful movie. Not really a successful sequel or sequels, but it really plays on the whole tropes of, oh, is it real? Is it imaginary? Is it, because at this point there's no supernatural elements, and at the end there is none, but it kind of plays on the whole supernatural elements, where she hears whispers, she looks around, there's nobody there, whispers continue, and then she looks again and somebody kind of steps off the bathroom, and it literally becomes a murder scene, or a mock murder scene.
Yeah,
Right.
and there's also in this scene, the next scene that comes up, there's the two kids that are wearing the ghost face mask that are running after her, playing a joke. And I wanted to just call attention to the fact that Peter fucking Fonzarelli is their principal. The Fonz is their principal.
Yeah.
Yes. I have to screw it up. I want to ask, because
talking about jumping the shark here,
yeah,
man.
You guys might remember more than me. This is Henry Winkler. He's the principal. Yes. Before this role, when did you last see him? Because he was around during the 80s almost at all. Like Happy Days, when did Happy Days wrap? 79?
Happy Days ended in, I want to say, the maybe early 80s.
And then he was gone. Like gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's go, Brain. I think the Waterboy, but Waterboy came out after Scream. Waterboy was in
Waterboy was after Scream. Yeah, 97, 98, something like that.
Yeah,
it was after this. I don't think he was in any. First of all, he was not on TV, and I think he wasn't in any like movie that he did. more than a line or two. And
Yeah,
this one, he
that's about it.
actually has some sort of a role. It's not a big role, but it has some sort of a role. And
Yeah.
he's the obnoxious principal. Apparently, he's not. He's not
Right.
that guy.
He is not the Fonz.
He's not the Fonz. All right.
Is it right from that little turn though, right before we go to our first segment, Meth, because I see
Yeah.
where you're going here, we can see where he pops his head out, and who does he talk to?
Yeah.
Our janitor friend.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Let's just cover
Was
that.
it
Let's just cover that. Yeah.
Freddy,
Let's just
right?
cover that.
Or the fake
Yeah.
one.
Bingo! No, you got it.
Yeah,
It's actually
the fake Freddy.
His character's name is Fred the janitor,
Oh, that's.
and he's wearing the Freddy jumper. And do you know who that is, Bella?
No, I don't.
The actor?
Wait, is that? That can't be. No.
No,
I
that's
gotta
not
see that
Robert
picture.
England. No,
No,
that's
no,
Wes
no. I know
Craven.
it's not. That's what I was about to say. I know
Yeah,
it's not Robert England because he has a very distinctive facial
Yeah.
features. That was Wes
There
Craven.
that's
you go.
Wes Craven.
Oh my God,
That's
that
the director.
was him. Oh, that's adorable. I love it. I love the nod. I love it when films do this. It's like paying respects.
Yeah. This is Wes Craven.
Craven. He's doing a
Himself.
callback
And-
in his own movie to his own
He's-
movies.
Exactly. He's
I love it.
and this is why I said the movie kind of walks that thin little line between parody or satire, one of those like airplane movies or scary movie,
Yeah.
and
Right.
actually being a slasher movie. And it never crosses that line where it becomes jokey. This is like the furthest they get with this. And
Well, I was gonna say you could say it doesn't jump the shark.
it just doesn't
To a
jump the shark.
call back to Fonzie.
Yeah, but I like it that it's sort of both putting
Right there.
a slasher character and harkens to the fact that Wes Craven literally almost lost his fucking career because of one Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And
Yeah.
it's sort of a self-deprecation within a slasher movie.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
so good. So good. All right.
This is meta before meta was meta.
Meta before meta was meta. Okay, let's do this. Bump this up.
Alrighty.
One of the things we do every single time is a segment we like to call "We Don't Have a Name for This Segment."
Really?
Yeah.
We don't have a name for it yet.
We don't have.
We've
a
done
name for
20
it.
podcasts and we still don't have a name for this
Yeah,
damn
this
segment
is
yet.
this is our 20th podcast, and we still don't have a name for this. Okay, but what we do is we put up posters that have their text blacked out or removed, or some sort of a promotional poster that you would see in a big theater that wasn't actually, it was from the movie, but not actually the poster of the movie. And I'm going to pull it up, and you, with All My Feelings and our chat, will try and guess which movie is this. But before we start, I didn't go through everything. I just want to make sure I remember all the names because they're literally.
We don't want to repeat of last week.
We don't want to repeat the last week. No, we do not.
You have to hold on for a second. I forgot the name of this one too.
Yes. Okay. Let us enjoy. All right. There we go.
Oh boy. What?
If you want me to punch in, I'll punch in.
Yeah, can you punch in a little bit?
Stomped
my
from
God.
the get-go.
What
I
the
have no idea. None.
That's-
what's
Got it. Brandon in our
Brandon
chat
got it. It's
knows
Outlander.
This
Wow.
is Outlander.
Outlander? Yeah,
Never saw that movie.
me neither.
Is that Red?
Oh,
Is that just Red or Red 2?
Give it a guess.
I'm gonna go with Red 2.
Okay. Bella?
I know this is totally wrong. You know what? No, because he wasn't in that movie and she wasn't in that movie. I was thinking Sin City, but the coloring is wrong. So that's definitely incorrect. So I have no idea.
This is Red, not Red
Oh,
2.
it's just Red 1.
Morgan
Okay.
Freeman died in Red.
Oh,
In the
crap.
original Red.
Okay. Rain of
We're
Fire.
coming on a theme here with the coloring, are we not?
It gets
It's a
well.
theme.
It gets different a little bit later.
So
It
yeah,
is-
you got my guess.
It is Reign of Fire,
Fire. Yeah.
and that's
I've
Matthew.
never seen that one.
That's Matthew McConaughey.
Where?
And Christian.
On the left. That's Matthew McConaughey.
That's Matthew McConaughey, and this is Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Reign of Fire.
That
It's
looks
a movie
like
about
one
post.
of them.
It's about the post-apocalypse with dragons. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
With dragons. I like
with
that.
dragons.
It wasn't very good, but it's worth a
It
watch.
was not good.
Okay. I like those kind
Speaking
of
of
films.
Matthew McConaughey,
Speaking of Matthew McConaughey,
oh my, is that
Penelope Cruz?
that
No,
is
it is.
Penelope Cruz,
Bruh, I feel like I've definitely seen this.
and it is Steve Zahn.
Zahn. I'm being
And
pedantic,
as in
but that's how you pronounce his name.
And Matthew again.
It is not
No.
Sierra. It is not Sierra, but it's close.
Wow, I'm so
If
upset
it's
because
not
I feel
Sierra,
like
is it Sahara?
Sahara it is. Yes, it is. Sahara. It's a fun movie.
whoa.
It's a fun movie.
Oh, good damn it! I know this one. Oh.
I know the plot of
Gerard
this
Butler,
movie.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
Oh my god.
He's
My
a
heart blanks.
bounty hunter bringing her back, but
You know what's funny? There's a very similar movie with Katherine Heigl
of course there is.
playing Gerard Butler's role. Yes, it's Family Man.
Family Man. Nope, had no idea. That's
Of course,
just
it's the
Brandon is-
Expendables.
Expendables, but which one?
that's Expendables 2.
So many. Or it seems like it is.
I want to say that's Expendables 2.
I'm gonna punch in, and I'll give you one more shot.
Is it? Wait, him? He's at the end.
It's not Expendables
Third
3.
one? It's not. Are you sure?
It's
Yeah,
not
because Ronda
Expendables
Rousey was
3.
in the third one. So it has to be Expendables 2 then. Because Bruce Willis wasn't in the first one, wasn't he?
There's a lot of action people in one movie, bro. I
All
cannot.
right, guys, this is Expendables number 1.
Oh, all right.
Really?
Brandon's killing it. This is the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. This movie is
God dang
fucking
it.
awful.
You got it out before I could.
The movie,
I seen my man Sean Connery in the front. Like,
yeah,
That's the
movie
last
No,
movie.
that's-
killed,
That's literally the last movie he said he would ever make.
and he
Ever.
did. It was
And he
his
wasn't
last
lying.
movie that he ever made.
he stuck by
The
his word.
Proposal.
The
Mhm.
Proposal.
Ryan Reynolds, Sandra Bullock.
playing Ryan Reynolds in a Ryan Reynolds
Ryan Reynolds movie. Starring Ryan Reynolds. Featuring
Mhm.
Ryan Reynolds. Is that X-Files I Want to Believe?
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's
it's
not.
just X-Files.
It's just X-Files. Okay.
I Want to Believe is the second one, I believe.
Oh, okay.
This is the first one.
First one.
And I think it's the last one. Yes, this is the last one.
Oh,
Just The
Oh.
Firm?
Not The Firm.
Wall
No.
Street.
mm-mm.
Go Bella. Go Bella.
Go, Bella, go.
Oh, it's on the edge of my tongue. I hate this. My brain goes blank. I can just picture scenes and
It's so easy when on the water it says the name of
It's
it.
Wall Street. Yeah, it's Wall Street.
Yes, it's Wall Street.
it is.
If you have not watched this,
It's
this
a great
I
movie.
did.
is so
So good.
This movie
Oh, good.
sums up New York City in the entire 80s.
That and,
movie
and
sums up-
oddly enough, that and The Wolf on Wall Street. Or The Wolf
Yes.
of Wall Street.
Yes, but if you want to watch a movie to know how was it like in Manhattan in the entire 80s, including Wall Street itself, drugs, everything. This one is the one to watch. Fucking awesome movie.
Awesome movie.
Awesome movie. Greed is good.
Good.
Greed is good. That was also the tagline, which is fucking good. Right.
And that is so quintessentially 80s, it's ridiculous.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So it was acceptable in the 80s. It was acceptable at the time.
Right. So we get Tatum and Sydney talking, and they're talking about being together and maybe going to the they want to do the party at Stu's and all that stuff. But the one line from this, it's basically, if you don't listen to it, it's a throwaway line. Tatum, Rose McGowan, tells Sydney, this is not one of those Wes Carpenter movies.
Yeah, I know. I know.
She references both Wes Craven and John Carpenter, which both kind of ruled the whole thing, like we said at the beginning. Yeah, it's such, and again, a thin line between parody and actual slasher movie. She kind of jokes about it, but it's just an homage. It also, because it's a Wes Craven movie, it's a homage to himself, but not really. It's sort of the dichotomy between the scene with the janitor where it's self-deprecation, and then this scene, it's glorification of basically himself. And
all the
slashers
that they had mentioned throughout the film too what were the big ones?
Yeah, so Halloween, Friday the 13th, and
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Howling. They did mention Nightmare.
Yes.
Did they? I thought I watched this like twice in the past 3 days. They said something about The Howling is like a John Carpenter, but without Michael, something like that. Or did I get it from something else?
That's during the party when Randy's talking about the movies they're watching.
Yeah, he said something about The Howling is like. It's John Carpenter, but without Michael and the knife, something like that.
Myers, yeah.
So
that, and one thing that they did, I love that second question that he asked. We're going way back from the beginning when that first conversation with Casey, with Drew Barrymore. That second question, I love that little bit. I was like, so no, who was the murderer in Friday the 13th? Jason.
I got that one wrong too. Yeah. I got that one wrong as a kid.
It's Mrs. Voorhees, and that's why I'm going to kill you. That's basically it.
Oddly enough, spoiler for next week.
Yeah.
Wait. Sidebar. Outside of the movies that they just outright mention within this movie, there's a shit ton of nods to famous horror films all through the movie, including the first scene. It kind of reminds me of an old movie I saw when I was a kid called like "There's the Call is Coming from Within the House" or something like that. It's a the setting and everything is very similar. It's not the same situation, but
it's a trope where there's always the babysitter where the call is coming from within. So coming from inside the house.
Yeah. It's
the way it plays out.
It's a lot of playing on tropes this entire movie, but it references specific like scenes with phones, with even the door jamming the other door, where Sydney kind of jams the door with the other door. Right. It references. I don't remember the name of the movie, but I think it's Cujo. I'm not sure. I think it's Cujo.
I remember Cujo.
You got
Cujo is the big bag dog, Stephen
King.
Big St. Bernard. Yeah. Yep, you got it.
I'm not sure it's there, but I think it is. She jammed the door and the dog couldn't go in, and then never mind. But it is another trope, but it's not only a trope, but also something that is specifically taken from.
Yeah, it's a nod.
It's a nod. It's a nod. All right, so
in a way, In a way, I just side caveat here.
Let's go.
This movie in itself is a love letter to horror as a genre.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is another scene where they talk to again Randy. They talk to Randy, and Randy kind of gives us a little bit of explanation about why they shouldn't have that party.
Yeah.
Why everyone is there at the horror section, especially when there's a mass murderer running around.
Well, no, because it was Randy was talking to Stu, and because Billy Skeet Ulrich's character was sitting there hanging by the horror section, and when Randy was talking to Stu, he's like, "Well, how could you be so cavalier about it? Look at him. He was just in jail, suspected of being a murderer, and he's hanging around horror films."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Very sus.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why are you being so sus? It's those little things kind of activates your brain. If you're like a horror movie guy, it's not getting the nod and everything. That's okay. But these tiny little moments in the movie kind of it elevates the entire movie into, this is a legit horror movie, even though we are not really breaking the fourth wall, but we are in kind of a way
approaching it. Yeah.
And it draws you in, and you want to see. Again, if we're looking at this in a perspective of, I'm watching this for the first time, I know maybe I've got a little bit of background, I know of things, but if I know nothing, this actually kind of gives you a sort of a present in terms of, oh, here's a present. Watch this till the end, and you'll get the Jack in the Box. You'll get
they're all little Easter eggs,
and you'll get every single Easter egg that we've planted throughout this movie. All the tropes. That's where it comes in, and it literally draws you in. That's what I like about it. That's what I love about it.
Then we have the big thing where, from here, the school's been canceled.
Yeah, school's been canceled. All the kids have a curfew.
Does that make
running around?
Does that make any Bella? Does that make any sense whatsoever? Like, why would you be like? So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna make sure that you're monitored for a certain period of hours during the day where we know that you're safe, and if the killer's gonna strike someone in this school, we would know about it. Instead, we're just gonna let you run free.
Yeah. While it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, they do be doing that dumb crap. Like, if the first sight of something, they be like, all right, everybody go home. They don't want to deal with it. That's just they want no parts. They're like, oh, you're going to get killed off the grounds, not over here, not near here.
You got the superintendent going, fuck that. As long as it's not on school property, I don't care.
Right, exactly.
Our hands are clean.
In here, we call it covering your own ass.
Yep.
Yeah, covering your own ass. All right, so I like it where Randy kind of holds two videos. It was like, what are we watching first? Evil Dead or Hellraisers? And Sydney's like, anything but Jamie Lee Curtis. And they go into this spiel where they talk, why her? Because she's the scream queen. And then they go into one of the guys is like, I just want to see Jamie Lee Curtis's tits. And Randy's like, just relax. And there he goes into the virgin trope where she can't show her breasts because she's a virgin and she has to be protected. She cannot be a sinner and show her tits around, right? Because she needs to be saved at the end.
And I love the way that this is shot, because there's that immediate dichotomy between that and what's going on between Sydney and Billy, where Sydney is saying, "Okay, we're gonna be."
Yeah, it comes a little bit later. And it's sort of I think the Sydney and Billy scene where she actually says, well, let's have sex, and they do have sex. It's the whole point is we up to that point we've talked about all the different tropes. So we're at this point you're setting up to have Sydney getting murdered because she broke the narrative, she broke the tropes, therefore she must die.
Yep.
And that point where they play around with it, that's actually good writing, especially in a horror movie where everything is about, oh, this happened, so this might happen, but you also get scared because music and jump scares and all that stuff. Now, I want to get to a point because they did talk about showing tits and boobs and stuff. We get this scene where I'm having the hardest time to get exactly that point. You know me, I'm a stickler. You get the scene where Gail kind of crashes the party and plants that little
the camera,
and it comes up later because they repeat saying that it has like a 30-second delay. And we have Tatum going to get some there.
Poor Tatum. Oh, poor Tatum.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a build
because
nipples. Hello.
Now I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go to something else, something outside of the movie. In terms of the outside of the movie was it had 14 or 17 different versions because it always got an NC-17, and they wanted to drop it down to R because that way they won't lose money on it. And of course, this is a Dimension movie. This is before the Weinstein Company, but it is Harvey and Bob Weinstein. And no matter how much pressure they put on the, is it NCAP?
The MPAA.
NPAA. So no matter what pressure they put on the NPAA, it kept getting NC-17. They wanted to drop it down, and the whole point is their final argument is the fact that yes, there's blood, yes, there is mild curse words, but we never show breasts. We never show naked
there
people.
Was no nudity, and the amount of gore in the movie is very minimal.
Very.
Yes, very minimal. There is gore, you see blood, you see guts, all that stuff. It's not super in your face, and that's because to get that R rating. But they did get away with this, but
if you know the history between Rose McGowan and Harvey Weinstein, it's a very, very, very sad story.
Yes, I know.
We don't want to talk about those.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I will say this sidebar.
You are free to express your mind to your fullest. Whatever. You can say whatever you want.
Okay. So that scene to me was their version, since they couldn't get it down to R. You know how every single 70s slasher always have this dumb teenager woman she's either skinny dipping or she's topless for no reason, and she's going out in the woods to look for Billy. Stop playing. This isn't a joke anymore. That was their version of that because they couldn't do the whole topless joint. So, nipples is what we got. We got nipples. Yeah. That's all. That's all we're getting.
And Bella, you hit the proverbial nail on the head right there, because she was supposed to be the stereotypical ditzy friend, the one that is gonna get killed. You know from the get-go when they first had the first conversation, oh, she's gonna die.
Yeah. For sure.
And the whole point is, I'm trying to get to that exact point, but it's super hard, especially on VLC. So she goes into the garage door. It kind of opens up, then it closes. She sees a ghost face guy. And of course, she says to him the absolute best line where, oh, please don't kill me. I want to be in the sequel, which is the most fourth wall break, but without breaking fourth wall. And it just brings a smile to your face. Yet this girl, this girl is gonna die. Like,
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
that's it. And her death is the least gory of all of them. All she does
Yeah,
is kind
they're-
of get away from the cat's cat door, and she gets squashed because it lifts
There's
up.
just that one side scene that you see later when Sydney falls off the roof, where it cuts back, where you can see her body that's
A bit
twisted and
mangled, but
contorted,
there's no visible blood.
Right.
I can
No.
look for pinpoint exactly where it is, but there's no visible blood. She gets cut on her arm.
Yeah,
It's not,
that's about it.
It's not super compared to a slasher movie. It's not super gory at all.
No.
And
No.
of course,
And also,
Like-
damn you, Bella, now I want nachos.
that's
I'm sorry, they're so good.
hey,
Oh,
hey,
no, go
hey,
ahead. I'm just
go
saying.
ahead. That's fine.
They just sound really good now.
That's fine.
They
Anyway,
are.
we get this scene. I'm not gonna go into deeper in. Not that
Like-
there's anything to see, but she basically
Tweaker, low rent Johnny Depp over here.
This whole party is basically ramping up as a crescendo to getting people killed left and right here. So it starts with this. This is like Tatum gets killed, and Billy and Sydney have sex, and it's a nothing burger. It's just to give us
Propel
a little
the
bit
story
of,
and also subvert the trope.
yeah,
where
subvert our
the final girl has to
expectation.
be virginal. That's what it's doing. It's subverting that trope.
And the next scene is basically what we said, talking about the Jamie Lee Curtis and all that stuff. But we get Mr. Randy. See,
Yep.
This
sex
is facts.
equals death.
Death.
And also, what you may never ever do in a horror movie is saying, "I'll be right back."
Right back.
That
Well, because no, he says you can't drink or do drugs, and all of them are sitting around just cheers and beers, and then they're like,
Yeah.
"I'll be right back," and then Stu is the one who goes like,
Yeah.
"And I'll be right back."
Yeah, he's like, "I need some more nachos. I'll be right back." So, yeah, and Dean, everybody's fucking drunk and laughing because, of course, this is not real, right? But this
And
is where
then who gets the call? One of them gets a call saying that, "Oh yeah, they found the principal's body strewn up on the just the
yeah, and
on the
a few
football
kids
field,
literally go out.
on the field goal, like on the field goal
Right.
stands."
But
They found his body strung up there.
Actually, see it, right?
No,
don't
then all of
actually
them
see
go, "Yeah, come on, let's go check it out." Like,
Yeah.
what kind of fucking psychopaths are these?
Stupid,
Bella.
stupid.
Am I fucking wrong here? If I'm drunk as hell, the last thing I want to see is a dismembered corpse.
No, I was just like, yeah, it's time for me to go home. This is nice.
I think it kind of harkens back to Stand By Me, where the four kids, all they
That's
wanted to
that's a
do
good call.
is look
Yeah.
at a dead body because
Yeah.
it's fascinating, right? It's fascinating. Plus, first of all, it's not the dead body, it's the obnoxious principal dead. I just
Yeah.
want to see my principal from my school that I hate. I want to see him strung up on the field goal.
That's
No,
right?
the only thing is if they prop them up like this.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, don't choke, Bella. Don't choke.
like on the polo.
And while they were driving, Dewey,
He wasn't cool in life, but
yeah,
he was
Dewey
cool
and
in
Gail
death.
kind of walk and look at. Do you want to look at a
Yeah,
car
their
that
little
was
side
abandoned?
romance here.
Yeah, and Gail almost gets smashed, and they end up like Dewey on top of her, right?
Mhm.
I think it's right around here.
Yeah.
Literally, they kind of have a little bit of a romantic moment, and the kids kind of almost run them over. And of course, Dewey's such a great cop, he doesn't do anything. So mind you, he is 25 years old. He looks 47 in this movie.
With
And
that really super creepy pedo mustache, yes,
Yeah.
yes, he does.
It's
Because oh my god,
earlier in the
when was
movie.
that a look ever?
Yeah, earlier in the movie, it's kind of a halfway point in the movie where Gail kind of tries to get into the school where they meet for the first time. She tries to like placate to him, right? She tries to
it was like,
placate
oh,
him
is that
so
the
she'll have access.
demographic?
Yeah, she'll have access to the school.
Yeah.
And he tells her, I'm 25 years old. It's like,
No, because
motherfucker, you look 40.
I'm 25. No, because she goes, my key demographic was 18 to 24. And he goes, yeah, I was 24 for a whole year.
Yeah.
So was everyone.
Right.
He was 25. Oh, all right, Dewey.
This is why I prefer the scary movie version. He was
I know.
this many.
Oh, we're gonna get to that because we're gonna talk about Scary Movie on a wrap up here because man, they do some things so much better.
All right, so
what do we have?
Sydney and Billy finish up. Our murderer comes in the room and kills Billy. And of course goes after Sydney. She goes off. She gets out of the window.
She rolls off the
She
roof
rolls off the roof
onto the boat, which I was like, is there a mattress underneath that boat cover? Because baby girl,
yes.
I'm sorry, you would have broke something falling the way that you did.
For sure. And she goes off the boat, and then she looks at Tatum with the mangled body. Mm-hmm. And of course, she goes into the news truck where what's his name? Kenny is, and they watch this in of course they have the camera, and Randy's like reacting to Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, and the killer comes from behind, but something kind of triggers and he goes outside, right?
Well, because it triggers Kenny going, oh god, we got to help that kid. It's on a 30-second delay, and he has it open. He sees the front door and is then bye, exactly. Kenny.
Of course,
you did nothing wrong. Sorry, bye, Kenny.
While Sydney's not Sydney. Sydney's in the car.
Yeah, Sydney's in the van. Mm-hmm.
Gail comes back from her date with Stewie. Stewie goes in the house to deal with it. She goes in the truck. She gets surprised by the killer. Doesn't know where Kenny is. When she uses the windshield wipers, she wipes away the blood, and it sets her off. As soon as she puts the pedal to the metal, Kenny pops over.
Kenny's corpse falls over,
and she like runs into a fucking tree.
She says the worst line.
What?
You know what she says, right?
No.
I'm sorry you died, but you gotta get off my windshield.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So at this point, Sydney already got a cut, like here somewhere, and she has like cuts from falling. And of course, Billy calls to her.
And she gets the.
Yeah, she gets the gun.
Yeah, she gets Stewie's.
She gets Stewie's gun, where Stewie gets she goes into the house, and Stewie walks out, and he has a knife in his back. And of course, we get the big reveal where
there's a confrontation outside between Randy and Stu because she's like, well, it's one of you two. That's why she says, "Fuck you both," and she shuts the door.
And she finds out basically it's both Billy and Stu. And we get this whole key scene where they literally explain everything to her, but not really.
Oh my god, that's the creepiest still of Skeet Ulrich.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, Skeet Ulrich, when he laughs and when Johnny Depp laughs, you know which one is going to jail. You know which one is going to fucking jail. Because
like, I can tell from the get-go who killed those
Who-
47
who's
hitchhikers, and who's a
mass murderer?
multimillionaire. Yeah.
Exactly. So we got basically the exposition here where they tell her that her mom is actually a slut. Not in so many words,
Well,
but yeah, she
they
her mother
basically
did.
they tell her flat out that they're the ones that killed her mother
Yes.
and raped her too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, yay. Okay,
Yeah.
let's throw that
that's
in there
fun.
for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
For no reason.
Yeah.
And
It
they
was
tell her,
it was the
and they tell her
90s.
basically yeah, and they tell her basically the reason, but the real reason is only comes later on when Randy kind of shows up. Remember, they kind of tell her not really the reason because we felt like it.
Well, no, Billy tells her flat out that your mother is the reason. Your mother was sleeping with my father, and that's the reason why my mom left and abandoned me.
Yeah.
Which, as fucked up as it sounds, it's at least a modus operandi. It's a reason to do something. There's a reason behind it. Stu's is fuck it. My friend wants to kill some people.
He literally says, Stu says it's peer pressure.
Pressure.
Right.
Like, oh.
I mean, let's just
Poor Stu. I just want to give him a hug, even though he's a murderer.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is
this. The thing is this. I'm going to get to something like really important. There've been throughout the 90s and in the early 2000s, there were a lot of like, I wouldn't say copycat killers, but people that were. I'm referencing Columbine here. There was always a lead guy and a tag along.
Yeah.
Not that the tag along is not sociopathic in some way, but there's always a lead guy and a companion of sorts. When it was two guys killing. So in Columbine, there was the main guy who was a little bit more messed up, and the friend who was messed up, but he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't go past the planning phase. Let's just say that. Yeah. And it was prevalent in many other like small cases. Some of them you never even heard of because it's very much state-wise and that sort of thing. Let's just say in the past month, I've listened to a lot of these YouTube videos where the whole channel is like a crime channel, and there are throughout the years, especially after Scream, especially after let's say 1996, where there's a lot of these killings where there's two companions and there's always an alpha and a beta, and then this way Skeet or Billy's our alpha and Stu is our beta, and for a fact that the beta is always, he has it in his head that he's going to kill, but never goes into fruition. And the fact that he's friends with the alpha will set him off and he will kill because of peer pressure or he's my friend or whatever reason.
Well, I was going to say that's actually very true to a lot of serial killer couples that work together and families that work together. One of the most prolific were I would have to say is probably Charles Ng and his partner. They killed I think it was 14 or 15 people.
Okay.
And dismembered them, but the entire time there was someone who was always in charge, and it wasn't Charles. He was always the one following orders. And what that is, it's the worst version of a parasocial relationship.
Yeah. And it comes up in so many variations. It doesn't have to be two dudes. It can be like a boyfriend girlfriend, or husband wife duo, and the alpha doesn't necessarily have to be the man. It usually is the crazier the person, the more alpha he or she is. And
I have
yeah.
one, for example, here. Carl Homolka and her husband.
Okay. I
They
get it.
they did some terrible things. They murdered her own sister after raping her multiple times. Yeah, Bella, that's crazy white people.
So the whole plan advocates on the fact that they're going to frame Sydney's dad in all this. And what they do is, oh, okay, you're going to stab me and I'm going to stab you. And then we're going to pin it on the dad because we have the gun, and we're going to shoot the dad. And when they find us, it's going to be us, right? We're going to plant the evidence and all that stuff. But of course, it's foiled by who else but Gail Weathers, our bitchy reporter.
I do have to say, in that scene where they're both stabbing each other, you can tell from the get-go that Billy is not letting Stu live.
Oh yeah, you get that inkling that Stu
two can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
Yeah, and you get once he stabs him more than once, and you get Stu saying, "Dude, that really hurt. I think you went too deep." It's like, oh, you
and then he
dead,
stabs him
bro.
3 more times. Yeah,
right.
You
no
are dead,
shit, Sherlock. Really? Yeah. That hurt? Yeah, you got stabbed. I don't know why he thought he would be, loyal to him when he literally just murders everybody around him. This is stupid.
All right, and I like this where I know I'm showing too much blood for YouTube. I'm sorry. We get this. It's a funny moment with a very tense scene where Gail says they're gonna get exposed.
You're gonna call the cops. My parents are gonna be so mad.
My parents are gonna be so pissed. And you get it extracts the like a laughter from the audience because it's you would think anyone who is not the killer is gonna say that, maybe, but
and it humanizes him as well, because throughout the movie, he's like this 100%. Jokester, but you actually see him for what he is at this moment.
Yeah,
he's a child still. That's what he is. He's still a kid.
Yep.
Yeah. And
one thing I was going to add on that one scene, Meffistoe, where they're like, "Yeah, we're going to plant all this evidence on him." Like, hey, dum-dums, your fingerprints are all over the vocoder and the cell phone. If they were to check anything at all, and your blood's on it too, they put it in his pocket. They don't have gloves on.
Yeah, with bloody fingerprints on him.
They're stupid. They're stupid.
It just shows their age. That's all it does. It just shows their age. They've planned this sort of like I would plan something after I watch something in like a TV show or a movie. Oh, let's get into this vault. So we need C4, we need a drill, and we need stethoscope in order to make this elaborate heist. It comes down to that.
It's like, or Bella, like the first time you watch Home Alone. Like, I'm gonna set up these traps all over the house.
Oh, right. And rewatching it older, like, bro.
It's like, these guys are dead. These guys are dead, right?
Yeah. One of them for sure. One of them for sure.
One that got set on fire. How is he not dead?
No.
Well, the paint can in the face. And the iron. Yeah.
Multiple times, or at least brain damage.
Either brain damage or knocked out for a long time.
Right.
For a long time. We had that discussion like last week. It's like these guys should have been fucking dead.
They're dead. They're so dead. Yeah. Macaulay Culkin, I'm sorry. You're kind of a mass murderer. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Many moments. I'm like that nail through the foot should have caused some kind of infection because I had that like chemical in it. The ice fall, the multiple hits to the head, the fire being set on their skull cap. His skull cap. I forgot which Robin was.
He has a beanie or something
right.
Like that.
Yeah,
by the way, if you put your hand on a hot iron or something like where he literally had the knob.
Yeah.
Yes, I know we're going off on the tangents. That's okay.
Yeah, we do that.
Oh, it's okay because I got something to add.
You cannot use your hand, but it's a movie. You gotta slide
also, wasn't it a wooden door? Don't wood like expand under heat? It wouldn't have went through the doorknobs like that. Like it doesn't work that way.
Technically, it wouldn't. No, it would. It would be hot on the other end, not red hot.
Right, no. And you would be able to visibly see the damage from the metal contact with the wood door. But nope, it's a movie. It's fine. This is normal.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't think about it. It's one of the greatest.
Just turn your brain off and see a 7-year-old kill 2 grown men. Don't worry about it.
The one thing about Home Alone, before we go into our segment, the one thing about Home Alone is a line from Dogma that I absolutely adore, where they go into the strip club and they meet Salma Hayek, and she says, "I'm amused. I'm responsible for the 19 of the 20th grossing films of all time." And they say 19 and say, "Yes, the one with the kid and the thing. That was somebody's like coke dream or something like that." It made me and Mrs. Meth laugh so much. Somebody had to sell their soul to the devil to get the shit on that one. That's the line. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Our second segment of the night is Cinema Deathmatch, where we take 2 movies, pit them together. I've already done this is our first thing. We take 2 movies, pit them together, and determine which one is the best one. At the end of the day, our criteria is, at least for me, is if I can't find anything that it's better from the both of them, I go to my Friday night, Saturday night, out with the boys, out with the girls, or with their significant other. Which movie from these 2 am I going to watch? Now, we have the power of 3 tonight, where we have Bad Bella as a tiebreaker. Should it need to be a tiebreaker, Bad Bella is our tiebreaker. So our first pairing is this: Lethal Weapon 2 or V for Vendetta. As a customary, all my feelings will say first.
I am too old for this shit.
You're too old for this shit. Just as a fun exercise, V for Vendetta, bad movie when it came out. It wasn't a bad movie when it came out, but it was panned. I personally loved it. I love Lethal Weapon 2. It's not as good as 1. It's not as good as 3. I'm going to go V for Vendetta on this one. Bella, you're the deciding voice.
I'm going Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon.
I'm going Lethal Weapon. Mel Gibson. I got to.
You got to. Chasing Amy or L.A. Confidential. Chasing Amy is my second favorite Kevin Smith movie. I absolutely adore this movie. L.A. Confidential is a really good noir movie, but set in like 1940s. Set in 1997, but it was made way later when the film noir died already.
Yeah. I have to go with my also second favorite Kevin Smith movie of all time, Chasing Amy.
I am going Chasing Amy on this one. I love LA Confidential.
No, but
Bella?
Still, with it, Bella.
I'm sorry. I'm out of the loop. I'm definitely going LA Confidential. I love that movie.
All right.
Okay.
Loved it.
Oh, I love that movie too. It's just
Yeah. All right. Chasing Amy it is. Toy Story 2 or Kill Bill
This
Volume 1.
Fair. What?
Bella, this is why we love this segment.
I love both of these though.
I know.
For different reasons.
Okay. You choose first then.
Okay.
You choose first.
Yeah.
Kill Bill, amazing. I mean, I don't have to go into semantics. Everybody has seen it. Oh my gosh. Toy Story 2 is on the list of movies where I can recite every single line. I'm going.
Just do it.
I'm going
Just
Kill Bill. Oh, I'm
Kill
I'm
Bill. All right.
I feel bad.
For me,
30.
it's an easy choice. Kill Bill. Not because Toy Story 2 is a bad movie. It's because my absolute head and detest of Disney movies.
My heart.
Yeah. He doesn't like those.
I know. I'm a
I love all
complicated
this.
individual.
Koroni.
Oh my feelings.
Oh yeah.
Kill Bill. Right.
Oh
51st death. 51st deaths. No.
Deaths
51st dates.
felt like it when I was
Black
watching
Hawk
it.
Down. By the way, in Black Hawk Down, we've got 51st deaths. But,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go with 51st death. 51st deaths in
Keep saying it.
in Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Because Black Hawk Down, although a fantastic movie, it always depresses me.
Mhm.
I have to go
Brandon
with Black
says
Hawk
Black
Down.
Hawk Down. Yeah. All my feelings, Black Hawk Down.
Bella?
Okay, so I don't like war movies. I never did.
Mhm.
They're very depressing. I don't like them. They're not saying they're not bad movies. They are very well constructed in a way of making you feel depressed, but I don't watch movies to feel depressed. I love 51st Dates. I've seen it lots of times. Definitely 51st Dates, even with the Adam Sandler thing.
The Last Boy Scout and Nightmare Before Christmas. We have great pairings tonight. Don't you agree? No, usually we get like really obvious ones. Today we've got some bangers. All right, who goes first?
Nev?
Oh, me.
Or Bella, please.
Go.
Without thinking, Nightmare Before Christmas. It is magnificent. It's great. It's
Okay.
wonderful.
Oh, my feelings. Are we going?
My
Burton?
mom and I walked out of the Nightmare Before Christmas when I was 9. The Last Boy Scout.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm going with the Wayans brothers again, just a different Wayne brother. The Last Boy Scout. This movie is so underrated. You don't even believe. By the way, it has Halle Berry in it as well.
Yes.
Oh. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack
a
of
movie
the
we
Clone,
reviewed.
or a movie that we reviewed, Beetlejuice. You want me to go first?
Go for it,
I'll
bud.
go first.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice. Reason? The prequels are an abomination, just a lesser abomination to the new trilogy. Go.
Bella?
Definitely Beetlejuice. It's
All right.
hilarious.
And
I love all the main actors in it. It's just a ball of laughter, the dark humor, everything about it. So Beetlejuice.
Even Brandon in the chat also says
And
the
we're-
juice.
And I'm sorry, Beetlejuice. Oh my God, he's gonna show up.
Yeah, we said it way too many times. I said it twice.
Beth, don't even ask. You already know.
I know.
Oh my
I already know
goodness.
what. I already know what my feeling says. It's easy.
What is
It's
these
easy.
pairings, bro? Y'all making it hard.
I mean, to be fair, nothing you'll say will ever be the let's say the wrong choice, but you'll definitely be outvoted if you go the Blair Witch Project.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Which
Pulp
one would
Fiction
you pick?
is
No, I'm
literally
serious.
my
Which one
favorite
would you
film
pick?
of all
Yeah.
time, Bella. Like, full stop. That's my favorite movie of all time. I could recite literally every line in that film.
And for me, it's in my top 10. And if you remove Star Wars, the original trilogy, it would be in my top 5.
I said, like, if you got rid of Shawshank too, it's got to be like top 3.
These two are
But-
equal for me, but I will. Yeah,
Which
I
one
love
would
them
you
both for
pick?
different reasons.
Yeah, I know. Which one would you pick if it's just your choice?
If we're talking friends, night out and stuff, I wouldn't do Blair Witch. I'll do Pulp Fiction.
All right.
Oh
It'll
man,
start up a
I shot Marvin in the
dialogue.
face.
Last pairing. Have you seen this, by the way? It's very
I've
obscure.
not.
Okay.
I have not seen it either.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Now it just made it an easy choice for me.
Yep. Bella,
All right.
please. Floor is yours.
Choose Bella,
gosh.
because it's an easy choice for me. And now, by the way, oh my feelings. This is a Mike Judge movie.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
I'm
joking.
You're a bad
Before
man.
I choose Simpsons, I just want to say Matt, but I love Mars Attacks. This is very hard for me. But oh wait, do I want to choose Simpsons? Oh, gosh,
You can choose whatever you want.
I love them both. That I just find it weird that this site just pulling up movies that I actually like and stuff. You know what? Mars Attack. I'm choosing Mars.
Okay.
Attack.
I'm going to pick Mars Attacks because Jack Nicholson is awesome in it. John Cusack is awesome in it. No, not John Cusack. What's his face? Pierce Brosnan is good in it. Sarah Jessica Parker is good in it. Everyone is fucking awesome in this. Every small little part is awesome in it, except for the boy who saves the world. He is not a good cast. I'm sorry, he is not a good cast. So
It's
for me,
probably
it's Mars
someone's
Attacks.
son.
Probably,
most likely.
maybe.
But I do have to say,
Matt.
All right, cool.
Oh my goodness.
By the way, it's Road to Perdition who wins the next one because Passion of the Christ is messed up.
I would never choose, and I don't care what movie was going against it. It was automatically a second movie.
It was messed. It was not good. It was literally. And if you take the politics out of it, if you take Mel Gibson out of it, if you take anything, just look at the movie as a story. It's fucking bad. It's terrible. It absolutely is terrible. All right.
That Road to Perdition is also a really good movie.
Yeah. Another good Tom Hanks movie. All right. We are summarizing this entire movie because we have reached the end where we have basically not the last scene, but we've got Gail saving the day again, right? And we've got her closing up.
Randy with the, if this was a horror movie, this is about the time that the villain would pop up and Billy goes, and Gail shoots him right in the head.
Yeah. I want to get to
subverting that trope. It is like, that's perfect. Even at the end, he throws that last little jab in there.
Right. This is why you double tap people.
That's why you double tap people.
Yep.
And we get this where you literally have the start of the coverage, but it kind of tapers off, and we know we don't need anything else. This is like Gail Weathers with Eyewitness News and credits. That's it.
And I was gonna say real quick, Bella, just on that scene, Mep, could you pull that back up real quick?
Oh,
you're the more fashion conscious and savvy. What the fuck is up with the collars on her shirt?
Wait, let me see.
Wait. I literally pressed the wrong button.
She's wearing a jacket and her collars go out to about here.
Hold. Hey.
On her red shirt.
She was just facing a brutal murderer.
Leave that woman alone.
Oh, I'm saying there were a lot of victims in this movie, and one of them were her fashion sense. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, she did kind of dress like, I don't know, the big hair, the chunky highlights.
There it is.
Whoa. Oh. And I know what kind of collar that is, but you're not supposed to have it over. You're supposed to have it under. especially with the contrast of the shape of the jacket itself. Why they do that to her? Why?
Also, what is with the button?
Yeah, the random button just right there.
If
It's
we're
supposed to
going
be the
into
pop of
fashion,
color.
and the bronze leather jacket. Hello?
This could have been a good
copper.
look
Let's
if they
just
did
say,
it right.
let's just say she's supposed to be one of the sexiest characters here because she's like an assertive woman. She basically saves the day, right?
Mhm.
Why isn't she better looking? Why?
I
They could have
wouldn't
made
say
her-
better
Hey,
looking. I would
hey,
say better dressed.
I don't expect her to be in a fucking dress and pumps, right? But don't kill her, right? Don't, I mean, literally kill her soul with this thing, right?
I mean, to be fair, it's not as bad as the lime green pantsuit that they had her wearing at the beginning.
Oh,
I think that was just a part of her character arc. She just dressed it like,
Ooh,
I don't
maybe-
even know what that was. It was terrible.
yeah, maybe she, like Bella says, maybe she's supposed to be tacky.
Right.
Like,
She's so
who
focused on her
yeah.
work
Yeah, it could be.
that she can't focus on like fashion sense, apparently.
Apparently.
I'm just
too
glad
hard.
she wasn't a meteorologist in that one scene, because all you would have had is arms and her head. Yeah, nailed that joke.
Got me. You got me. You got me. All right, guys, let's summarize the movie with some facts. Give us some facts, sir. Give me. I know we got some notes about some facts.
Yes.
Give me some production
to
facts.
start off, one of the most interesting things about this is that this movie originally, when the first week it was released, do you know it actually came in second in the box office? Do you know what movie was first?
I read it on the Wikipedia.
It's really funny. Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yes.
Really?
Beavis and Butthead Do America was actually did really well on the first week.
First weekend.
But then people got to see the movie and got word of mouth. And the second week it did better than the first.
Skyrocketed.
Yeah, better than the first. And it stayed in the theaters for, I think it's like 8 weeks, which is 2 months. It stayed and people went to it because everybody likes a Friday night fright, right? Everybody likes a good. I am Coron Julio.
I need TV for my bunghole.
Yeah, and it did way better the second week than it did in the first, and the third week was even better than it kept rolling. But it became a phenomenon, and that's why we get Scary Movie, which is a segue to Scary Movie.
Which I want to say that I believe the story in Scary Movie way more than I did in Scream. The relationship between the two villains at the end of the movie, Bella, them being in a secret homosexual relationship, that at least made some fucking sense.
Because they were hanging off each other. And not saying that they were supposed to be like that in the movie, but I feel like they didn't know how to write men's friendships or something. Because they were hanging off each other how like me and my friends do when we're drunk. They're just like all on each other, and I'm just like, oh, what's going on here? Even though I think he tried to say he wasn't gay, he's like, what? I ain't gay.
I think it was also a running joke throughout like the second and third as well, where they kind of played off on one of them likes, oh, I like big long hoses or balls or whatever. I don't remember everything, but
there was that one where
they totally leaned into it.
It was Anna Faris's character was talking to, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I completely forgot the actress's name. The one who plays
her friend,
Sean Wayans' romantic interest in Scary Movie.
Oh, she's like Brenda. Her name was Brenda in the movie.
Brenda, yeah.
She's Brenda.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love her
she's
character.
like, yeah. She it's okay. He makes me wear the football uniform and the helmet during sex.
It's so bad because I know every single line in the first Scary Movie, even to the point to where she was walking up. That girl was walking up, and she was like, "She's as pressed as." She's as fake as press on nails.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
baby girl, mwah, mwah. It's like I could literally say that movie line for line because it's just so good, and I've seen it as much as I've seen Toy Story.
Oh, and the subversion that Shannon Elizabeth does in the shower scene is like, "Oh no, you're stabbing me."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh look, I'm bleeding. Eek, eek. Oh wait, you expect me to run, right? Oh, I'm running. Help. Help. Now I'm gonna fall and break my leg, leaving me helpless. Crack. I'm like, oh, come on. What is this?
And
What is it?
And it also had the basically shot for shot scene with Drew Barrymore replacing with what's her face from Baywatch, who was
Carmen Electra.
Carmen Electra.
That's
She's from
Electra.
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
at the end where she's basically killed, she's like, she does her Baywatch thing where she removes the clothing, she stays in it, does that whole, it does that. And it's like, it literally, it sets you up for what's to come. Like, like a good, like an airplane movie or a Naked Gun movie.
Right.
Like the first kind of scene sets you up for like, oh, this is going to be a bumpy ride.
It's like almost, it's like, in a way, I was so surprised the first time I saw it. I was like, did Mel Brooks make this?
Yes. Yes.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, this reminds me of Spaceballs a lot.
It does. All right. Other than that, I think in a way, we kind of said that it is it's both a homage, a trope, but also self-deprecating and giving. It's all a mishmash of little things that elevated. And of course, we said it. I think we said it last week, or we said it like on the backstage area after we finished the podcast, where this movie literally not only revived Wes Craven and all that, but it literally brought in new directors to do new things. When was Candyman? Was it 1997?
No, Candyman, the original Candyman was what, 92, Bella?
I don't remember the date, but y'all done said his name twice.
I know. By the way, Bella loves that movie too.
No, I don't.
If it
I know
was
you
earlier,
do.
then if it was earlier, we can check. Like,
I haven't even seen the new one yet. I'm going to, but
the new one is really good. You'll like it a lot.
Yeah, Candyman is 1992.
92,
but in terms of commercial success, it wasn't super commercial success. If I'm not mistaken, it was like more of a cult movie where it was not really good at the movies, but when it like came out for VHS or DVD at the time, it really took off. But from Scream, not to mention Scream 2, Scream 3, we had I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yep.
And what else was like a 90s thing?
Then Wrong Turn.
Blair Witch Project as well.
Blair Witch was after that.
It literally
that was part of the found footage stuff, though.
No, but I mean, it gave the studios a bit of a incentive to take on horror, the whole entire horror genre. Yeah. Meaning they will gamble on Blair Witch Project. They will do I Know What You Did Last Summer. They will give a go ahead to do Scream 2 and Scream 3, and later on the whole like Cube. When was Cube?
Wow, that
original
even, like
Cube.
If you want to go,
Cube original Cube was 1997, right? It came out 1 year after. It didn't do much in the box office, but it was dirt cheap to make. So it made a lot of money.
And that's where they saw too that they could make a shitload of money off of making really cheap horror films too. Yeah, because that was really with Wrong Turn,
But original Cube, if I'm not mistaken, had a very young No, it's David Hewitt is the most famous one. It's the guy from SG-1 or
Yeah.
SG Atlantis. I think in later, like in Cube 2, it was what's her face? J-Lo was in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you're right. Does that Cube
also-
2 Hypercube?
Hypercube, yes. Also, not really horror, but yes, horror. Anaconda was 1997 with J-Lo, which
Yes.
was kind of a horror movie. Didn't do well, but it was dirt cheap to
Wait,
make.
was Ice Cube in that?
Ice Cube was
Yes.
in Anaconda.
Yes.
Ice Cube was in Anaconda. But what I'm saying is it gave the studios the go-ahead to say, well,
Yeah.
the horror genre is not dead. We can make money off of this. So they put effort into it. Brandon says Cruel Intentions. It's not really a horror movie. It's more like a thriller or a murder mystery thriller kind of a thing.
And that was really the only other project that
movie.
Nev Campbell was in besides
And
Scream,
yes,
right?
Brandon said the new Japanese version of the Cube is coming out in 2021. I've heard that. But when he says Japanese, yes, the Japanese and the Korean thing wasn't yet a thing. But later on in the start of the 2000s, because we had I Know What You Did Last Summer, we had The Ring later on. Much later.
Ju-on, or The
And-
Grudge.
And The Grudge as well.
Yeah.
It's again not really the same time. It's not the 90s, but it's a continuation of that. I see it as a continuation of that.
Well, you could say the same thing for the Saw franchise, getting its boost from
the
this.
Saw franchise, maybe not the boost, but the horror movie genre came up, and around the early 2000s, it kind of waned down. And when Saw came up, it pitched it back up, I think.
What? We're not going to talk about the
Maybe.
classic that is the Paris Hilton franchise, House of Wax.
No.
No.
Just no. Just no.
No.
Just no. But
Although I will say her death was magnificent.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
I've not
cutting
watched
of the heel, it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch.
I have not watched it. I'm not a real horror movie.
Oddly enough,
genre.
the House of Wax is not a terrible horror film. It's
I
really
am
not.
a horror movie aficionado. I've definitely seen House of Wax a couple of times, but it was still hard to watch. It's just like they put her in there to play her, like the role that she plays on TV. They just like be yourself or whatever role you play on television, but inside of a movie.
They were over the top on that.
The Craft is not.
The Craft
really a
was early
horror.
90s, and that was before.
The Faculty, yes.
The Faculty was good, though.
The Faculty.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. To wrap things up.
We could sit here and talk about movies all day long.
Yeah, we can.
Right.
But
I can. I watch a lot of movies.
Okay.
Hold. What we
we have
do.
one.
One last segment. Yeah. Have something to add before we do this?
Mm-mm.
No, I was just gonna say,
my favorites?
Beth, please explain
Yeah. Okay.
to our guest.
What we do at the end of every podcast is we have a little bit of this. We take the movie and we condense it, and we take a short version of The Scream. Enjoy.
Okay, here we go. The short version.
Do you like scary movies? It's just me. How about some good old dry humping? Better liver alone. Do you like scary movies, Sydney? How's the book, Gail? Couldn't have been me. I was in jail. Sydney. This seems to be the costume the killer wore. I'm 25 years old. Party at my house, bro. What did you call me? Doesn't sound like Wes Carpenter flick. There's always a stupid bullshit reason to kill your girlfriend. I see you as a young Meg Ryan. Thanks, Stewie. With my luck, I guess I'll be Tori Spelling. Guess what tomorrow is? Sorry, didn't mean to scare you.
Please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel. Has a cheesy tabloid reporter ever won the Pulitzer Prize? There are rules to horror movies. I'll be right back. Is that what you were looking for? Watch out, Jamie. You know he's around. 30-second delay. We all go a little mad sometimes. That's right. Give it up. You're no longer a virgin. My mom and dad are going to be pissed. Hi, this is Gail Weathers with the exclusive eyewitness account.
Magnifico.
That did remind me of one last thing.
What?
That Scary Movie did that I loved when they
What?
did when Sean Wayans did the interpretation of Matthew Lillard's spittle at the end. It was,
Oh.
that's right, there's more.
Yeah, it was so much. I was like, come on, stop
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it went a little bit over the top. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this week. Next week, Saturday, we will cover the almighty Friday the 13th, which we kind of spoiled at the start of the podcast, but
Portland.
it's all about movies. All right, so what you do if you want to join with us next week, please go out, rewatch or watch for the first time Friday the 13th, the original movie, and we're going to discuss it next week. Right. Our lovely guest, Miss Bad Bella, please go to Twitter, follow her on Twitter, go to Instagram, follow her on Instagram on @BadBellaENT. Or if you like to catch her live, please go give her a follow on twitch.tv/BadBellaGames. She's all about the gaming and chit chat and all that good stuff. If you want to interact with me, you can go to @Twitter, @Meffistoe, not @Twitter, @Meffistoe on Twitter or @Meffistoe79 on Instagram. Or, of course, Meffistoe79 @gmail.com. Emails, I've got everything open if you like to talk to me. Or, of course, if you like to interact with us, comment section down below. I read it. All My Feelings reads it, even though I told him not to. We read it, and we can enjoy our little conversations. Until next week, good night.